Here reading my comments, right? And a lot of people always ask me, they're like, I want to make a zine, but what do I make it about? And it can literally be anything. So I'm just going to list a bunch of random topics that you can steal. Make a zine about your cringiest moment. Make a zine about your favorite TV show. Make a zine exposing someone that hurt you. Make a zine exposing yourself about how you hurt someone else and how you learned from it. Interview someone that you think is really cool or you like the work that they're doing and compile it and make it an interview zine. Make a manifestation zine. Maybe you can do a list zine of your favorite songs. You can make a list of your favorite books. You could make a list of your favorite movies. Make a zine asking someone out. My boyfriend did that. When me and my boyfriend started dating, he made me the zine, said, I want to be your man, and here's why. And he added Bree, because my name is Bree. Then he made another zine. We got into a fight, and he made a zine. I still want to be your man, even though I totally fucked up. So I'm laying here reading my comments, right? And
Did you know that the British Library released more than 1 million images into the public domain, meaning they are free to use without any copyright restrictions in your personal and commercial work? These images were digitized from a collection of 65,000 books of the 17th, 18th and 19th century and have been arranged into themes such as book covers, illustrated letters, maps, flora and children's book illustrations. They also have a section on decorative papers if you're looking for some interesting textures and patterns for your next project.
Ghosting, it up, ghosting, it up, ghosting, that's what's up, ghosting. Hey Bobo, too much complexity to learn me from Google. My mama told me that the money outgrew you. My horoscope said I'm really on my noodle. I'm troubling, I'm puzzling, it's a ducal. Baby, yes America got a problem. Geeked up, choosy lover that chose violence, universal.
Hey guys, I'm in the Amazon rainforest and this red-tailed boa is not happy with me. This jungle dog is helping.
So I've recently been really into making these tiny doors to live on my walls, and I think they look so cute, especially kind of tucked amongst my paintings. So today I want to show you how I make them because I've been really loving this process. So key ingredient here is graph paper. So you're going to want to start off by drawing out a design for your door. I like to make mine the length of a coffee stirrer stick, which I'll explain later. So as you're drawing out your design, you're going to want to create within each shape a slightly smaller version of that shape, as you can kind of see here. And then you're going to want to use a very sharp X-Acto knife and a ruler to cut out your design. You're then going to want to get some really thin balsa wood. I just find mine online. And you're going to cut out a piece that is the size of your door design. You'll then tape your design on top of this piece of wood, and once everything is taped down, you'll grab your X-Acto knife and start cutting along the lines you drew. And very important thing to note here, cut along the inside shapes first. As you can see here, very important, cut along the insides first. Then once you're done, you should be able to kind of gently pop them out and cut off those edges, and you should be left with something that looks like this. You're then going to want to kind of sand down each piece, and I use a nail file to sort of just sand along the inside edges, I don't know what to call them. Then you're going to cut out another piece of balsa wood that's once again the size of your door, and you'll super glue each of the pieces you previously cut for the design on top of this second piece, as you can see here. And then, this is why I mentioned the coffee stirrer sticks before. I use them to make sort of a door frame, so I put them around all the edges, and then also kind of on top like this. And that's it. So you should be then left with something that looks like this. And from here, you have a lot of options. You could make more of a door frame like this guy. You could paint them. You could stain them. You can make a little doorknob with a keyhole. You can make just a plain doorknob. You can make a door handle. You can make a deadbolt. You can make a little peephole. You got a ton of creative options with this. So for this one, I decided to make a doorknob with a little keyhole. And I made the back out of wood and then made the doorknob itself out of clay, which I just baked and then glued on. I then painted the whole thing gold, and then promptly decided I did not like that color, so I repainted it with like a black-brown wash, but I forgot to film that, so here it is finished. I then made door hinges using toothpicks that I kind of just carved little notches into and then painted the same color as the doorknob. So then you just glue everything in place and that's it. You're finished with the door. So
your dinner, sir. Thank you, Jeeves. You may return to your enclosure. Every day is the best day of my life.
Okay, I'm going to try to explain as fast as I possibly can how I made my Coraline doll. The thing is, when I made her back in 2020, I was heavily inspired by this TikTok I saw another person post, but I cannot find that video now. I think the person's username has changed, so if anyone knows what it is now, please let me know. Luckily I have screenshots from the video, so I'll include the screenshots and I'll include photos that I took when I was making her and just try to explain the rest. Okay, so this is from their original video. Step one is to make like a stick figure out of basic metal wire, and at the top you make a circle and fill it in with just a bunch of tinfoil, because you'll make the rest of the head out of clay, and tinfoil is a lot cheaper and a lot more lightweight than clay, so fill it up and make it kind of rounded. Okay, I forgot I have the screenshot too. This is what it looks like pre-tinfoil. Okay, so then you're gonna make their little head and ears and face and neck out of clay. I used air dry clay. You could also use polymer clay. It is at this stage that if you want to add earrings afterwards, you're going to pierce little holes in their ears. That's what I did, if you can kind of see. I also gave her nostrils because I added in a septum ring. I also feel like it's a good time to, like, if you have the buttons you're going to use, kind of like make flat spots, since obviously the head's rounded, it'll help to glue it on if there's already like a flat surface. Okay, so you're going to make a little body. I made mine on a felt. I don't think it really matters too much what you use. You're going to just trace around the metal body, cut out 2 pieces, and sew everywhere except, you know, kind of the part at the top. You have to leave enough space to shove their metal body inside, and then fill it up with stuffing, and then close up that part at the top. So now you're going to paint the face. To come up with a skin color, you're usually just going to use some mix of browns, reds, yellows, and whites. You just have to play around to figure out what your ratio is until you find something that feels close enough. Okay, so you might also want to paint their eyebrows, and then I used pink for the lips, and I also blended some of it around the eyes, the tip of the nose, and the edges of the ears. Okay, so you're gonna make the hair using yarn. I don't actually have any yarn right now to show you, so I'm gonna use just string. But you'll take a segment, fold it in half, and take the folded end and just glue that to their head. I just use hot glue, starting from the base, like working up to the top of the head. And then you're probably gonna have to give her a bit of a haircut once you have everything glued on. Okay, unfortunately I'm running out of time, so I won't be able to show you as in-depth as I want to how I made all the clothing, but I want to make her outfit later this week, so I'll film that and then I'll show you like more details of how I made it all.
Okay, look at this custom roll design. See, it's rolling on there. Look at this. Oh, okay, look, it's all rolled there. Look, rolling more custom. It's a custom one. I'm going to tell you how to make it by this right here. Crap, you don't want that. Throw that away. You want these ones, the foam ones. These ones are the ones to get. Okay, so get them. Take a piece of paper. You're going to roll it. Figure out the surface area of the thing. Okay, get a pencil. You're going to want to mark that. Okay, so now you got the surface area. You draw like a little rectangle. All right, cut it out. This is going to be your template. So, all right, draw your design on there. Draw whatever you want. Just draw your design. Okay, now cut that design out. You're going to take your cutout design, put it on a roller. Now you're going to trace it on there. Now remember, this is it's going to roll on mirror backwards. So if you have text, that should be upside down, backwards, upside down, and then it'll come out right way when you roll it. Okay, X-Acto knife, cut it all out. Now you're good to go. Roll it. See, it's fun. See, now you can try this. Okay, have fun. Okay, now you can try. Okay, look at this custom.
Saca só, isso daí é um rolinho customizado, eu fiz 2 deles, pintei em vários lugares, com várias cores. Eu vou mostrar como é que faz. Você pega um rolinho, enrola numa folha de papel e marca com uma caneta para você ter a superfície.
Okay, so, you see this light? It looks like a regular light, right? No, it's a floor lamp that you can sit on! You can sit on it! Okay, so, you see this?
If you ever travel to Salem, Massachusetts, I highly recommend The Witchery and taking a broom making class. When we went to Salem for my baptism,
that's the way every day goes. Every time we look control, if the sky is making wide, if the ground is black and yellow, it's the same way you showed me. Now my head don't close my eyes, halfway on the slow move. It's the same way you showed me. If you could fly, then you feel south. Up north, getting cold soon. The way it is, we're on land, so I'm someone all true. Keep it cool and still alive. Won't let you down when it's all ruined. Just the same way you showed me. You showed me love. Glory from above, regardless.
To be just below the pupil at the meaty part of the eye. I know it's higher than you would think.
So Dr. Charles, who explains facial anatomy as an
easy ways to spot beginner portfolios. I'm going to tell you all of it because I'm an art director here, and I hate seeing super beginning portfolios being presented to art directors as if we're going to publish them, because we're not. Because these are things we see in them that aren't there yet, that aren't ready to be published. And I'm going to spill it all for you because I want you to be published. And so here are the things. Oh, by the way, I'm an art director. I'm an editorial art director. I'm Yvonne. I've been doing this forever. I've been reviewing thousands of portfolios as in my old age, and I'm telling you all the things that I see in the beginner portfolios. And by the way, here on TikTok, I see more beginning portfolios than anywhere. And most of the time, art directors are not looking at beginner portfolios. We are looking at professional portfolios presented by agents most of the time. So when I came here to TikTok, it was a shock to see all these beginner portfolios. But in a second, 5 seconds, I can tell if you're a beginner or not because of these things. So stay tuned. Now, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Your skill level. You can tell a
I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I come through your town. I'm gonna ride around in style, I'm gonna drive everybody wild.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the...
Okay, so I'm going to talk through engraving on a perfume. So most of the time when I engrave, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a draft on the bottle. So right here I'm using a brush pen to create this draft, and I can fix it how I need to depending on the way that it looks. Sometimes I use a glass pencil that's like a wax pencil, depending on like the color of the bottle, but sometimes the brush pen is just easier for me to see, so that's why I use this instead. So I set up my draft, and then after I'm done drafting, what I'm going to do is get my engraver. So this is a Yokefellow nail drill. I bought this off of Amazon. You want to make sure that you get the one that goes up to 40,000 RPM. And then there are diamond engraving burrs that I buy that go with it in different sizes, and I use the different sizes depending on my engraving. So then I go through and I do like a first draft of the engraving. If you're going to start engraving on bottles, it is important to have some kind of knowledge of calligraphy or lettering so that you know how to make the correct strokes whenever you're etching onto the bottle. So you can see I do a second round of etching, and this is where I'm going through and I'm adding that thickness that you see with typical calligraphy. So just having some kind of
Here's how to fold a Victorian puzzle purse, which makes for a magical greeting to send to your friends. This one was designed by me, but you can start with any square piece of paper to fold your own. As long as it's square, the size doesn't really matter, but I used a 7x7 piece because it was easily printed on my home printer. You'll want to mark out the thirds on each side of your paper. I used a strip of paper the same size that had the markings on them, that way I didn't have to measure every single time. Once the thirds are marked, you'll fold the paper along those marks horizontally and vertically, so in the end you'll have a grid of 3x3 squares. This is what your paper should look like by the end of this step. Once this step is done, you're going to go from corner to corner and fold basically a big X on the paper. And at the end of this step, this is what your paper should look like. Finally, you're going to put your paper down and take an outer corner to one of the inner corners of your grid and fold down just one of the middle squares. And you're going to do that. You're just going to keep rotating your paper and doing that. The direction of these can matter, so I suggest doing a test puzzle piece first, but basically once those are done, you can pinch your outer corners together and basically fiddle with the purse until you get to something that looks like this. From here, the rest is pretty easy. You simply want to fold down your outer triangles one by one, rotating in the same direction as you go so they overlock over each other and make a complete square once you fold the last one underneath the first one. This is what the complete puzzle purse looks like on the outside, and you'll see as you unfold towards the inside, it's just a really whimsical and fun way of sending a greeting. I write my messages on the innermost layer, but it's all up to you. If you like this design, you can purchase it on my...
Okay, so this is like the third person who suggested this. Don't mind me, this is as many crochet hooks as I could find, but you could definitely use this to display.
This is how I made a transit wheel for my wall. I started by painting the metal wall hanging black, which I found at St. Michael's. It was a seasonal decoration. While that dried, I got my crystal spheres and these magnets, which were 0.75 inches and 1 inch for the bigger spheres, and I used E6000 glue to glue them together. I found all my spheres on Etsy from a few different shops so I could get all the right sizes and colors I wanted for each planet, sun, and moon, and I could share that in another video if you want. For the bigger spheres, I did have to put them between something to hold them up while they dried, and I just let them dry all night before I touched them again. So you need to make 12 sections on your metal plate. I drew a line down the middle, used a protractor, and marked dots 30 degrees apart on each side, and then drew the lines with a gold Sharpie. And then I used a compass to draw a circle in the middle. Then once I had those down, I started drawing my zodiac signs. And if you mess up, that is okay. You can cover it with black paint and try again. Then I also did the constellation for each sign in their section, just the stars without the lines, and this is how it turned out. And once I drew everything with gold Sharpie, I went over it again in gold paint. I wasn't sure what I wanted in the middle, so I ended up gluing a piece of clear quartz and crushed up geode to a magnet so I could change it out if I ever wanted to. And here is the final product with all the planets on it. I absolutely love how this
What kind of paint do I use to paint on my shirts? That is a very good question, and often it stays unanswered. And I'm here to tell you what's up. First of all, don't come after me. I do have credentials. I went to art school. But they didn't teach me these things in art school. Okay, maybe some of them, but let me tell you. The short answer is I use fabric paint. Just fabric paint. The longer answer is there are two kinds of fabric paint. An opaque and a translucent one. We're going to do a little demonstration because we love to visualize things. But here I have the translucent one, and I'm painting on black fabric. And as you can see, it just kind of disappears like it was never there. That's because the fabric absorbs the paint, it's like a dye. Because the fabric is black, it doesn't work. That doesn't mean they're useless though, because for light fabrics, these are the shit. The opaque ones though kind of lay on top of the fabric instead of being absorbed by it. So that's why it's actually visible. Now I totally understand you not wanting to go out and get every single colored fabric paint now. They're not that cheap, and let's be honest, you're probably not going to use them that much anyway. That is where this little guy comes in. This is my best friend. I don't want to pick a favorite, but it's one of my best friends. You mix it up with any acrylic paint and it turns it into a fabric paint. It's like magic. Okay, ignore the fact that the music's over, I just have a lot to say. The only catch with mixing a fabric medium with acrylic paint is that it turns it into a translucent fabric paint. You can't really use it on black fabrics. That's why I usually mix it up with a little bit of white, a little bit of opaque white. So the rundown is, bare minimum I would get if I wanted to start painting on fabric is fabric medium and an opaque white. The fabric medium allows you to turn any paint that you already have into a fabric paint, and the opaque white allows you to turn it a little bit opaque if you don't mind it getting a little bit white. Thank you for watching.
Are you a fucking loser that doesn't have a 5-prong outside of the pants hand-sewn thrifted jean thong with spikes? Not for long. I'll show you how to fucking make it.
Okay, so cut up some Jabrick and pin it together, and then, you know, like, sew it. It's really, like, it's that simple. And then cut some triangles and sew them into jikes, and it's real, I mean, like...
Are you a fucking...
I made this little hand out of zip ties in about 2 or 3 minutes, and I bet you could too. All I did was made a little pattern with the zip ties, and then I finally just saw the possibility to do that. Well, it's only just kind of a miracle that I saw that possibility, but now that you know that it can be done, why don't you pick up some zip ties and just start making something? You'd probably be surprised what could happen through you.
Are you a fucking...
Hey everybody, just finishing up this crocodile head. Got the chip brush here, and I'm going to just kind of paint some water on it. And when you do that,
You ever draw something so fucking good every time? Draw something so fucking good every time you look at it, it feels like you're sniffing a line of coke. Let me show you what I just did. Look at this sweet motherfucker.
I find it easiest when starting jelly cubes to anchor the weave in some way so that it spreads out and you can easily see where your next layer needs to go. I really like using this chainmail card or mail card from West Coast Chainmail. As you can see, it keeps the weave spread out fairly nicely so I can easily see where my next rings need to go. If you don't have one of these, you could use a chunk of plastic canvas and just like how I have these rings attached here, you could attach them to a chunk of plastic canvas. Before I started using my mail card, I would literally take a twisty tie and go through this top row of rings and then this row here that is hanging out on the edge here. But just something that will allow you to kind of spread it out and see where your next layer needs to go is super helpful.
I wear this shirt when I don't want people in public to talk to me, when I'm feeling grumpy or upset, and it doesn't work.
The pattern that we're going to be using is white, white, black, white, black, black, white, black, white, white, black, and repeat as needed. Then we're going to fill it out starting at the top box, going down diagonally, and we're going to repeat that pattern and color scheme going all the way down and on the top half as well. I just want to say thank you guys so much. This comment section had me cracking up, and I'm so happy so many people like my art. In the comments, there were a few of you asking to get prints, so I have these available on pre-order now. The pattern.
If you care about me at all, you will listen. I made this. What is it, you ask? I'd love to tell you. It is a Dorodongo. It is a Japanese craft, often made by kids. What is it exactly? It is a polished piece of dirt. It's a perfectly polished and round piece of dirt, okay? It's not super polished on this side, but this side is pretty clean. How did I make it, you ask? I took dirt from my yard, I sifted it finely, okay, and then I culminated it into mud with water, obviously, formed it into a fairly decent sized sphere, and then you take a round cup or jar and you work at it like this, okay, and then you work away at it, and then you polish it, and then you have a perfectly formed Dorodongo. What's really cool, if you are familiar with rooting yourself and grounding yourself, if you want to meditate with one, you know, it's great to have connection to soil, right? I actually did meditate with it and I really, really enjoyed it. Check it out. You can buy them on Etsy for like $150, or you could make one yourself. If you want me to make you one, you let me know. But I'm really proud of it and I love it. My fiance and I did them together. It was so cool. Try it. Try it.
Maybe just stay inside. I know you're craving some fresh air, but the ceiling fan is so nice, and we could live so happily if no one knows that you're with me. I'm just kidding. I have a
living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
If I get pretty one day, it's over for you bitches. I would just like to announce that it is now over for you, bitch.
So I have artist friends that are absolutely thriving, and I also have artist friends that are struggling. And the biggest difference that I observe between them is their relationship to their art. They have a relationship in the first place, and they approach their work in a really adult, sophisticated way. Not to say that there's anything wrong with tapping into your childlike nature, but it's that the relationship to the creativity has matured a little bit over time. In the season of having to wait for permission to do.
Hi, I'm More Acorn People. Let me introduce you. This is Clarence. He is a farmer. This is Carl. He has a walker. This is Edith. She made a pie. This is Edwin. He's trying to do a split. This is Walter. He's sleeping in his chair. This is Leroy. The acorn friend that he's proposing to is coming soon. This is Earl's cousin Archie. This is Lenny the...
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
So I made this in pottery, and I'm so excited to see how it works. And I just got these coffee filters, so stay tuned. Also, ignore how dirty my stove is. I'm about to deep clean the kitchen tonight, so sorry. So I have my pot of boiling water, and I'm just gonna pour it on top and see how it goes. My first test. Oh, yes! Okay, this is exciting. Oh, let's not get too excited. Okay. Stay tuned. Some drain action. Yes. Alright, so here she is. And then... Great. So here she is done. Turning out well. I'm really excited that my little pottery thing worked. So...
Of course, first you're going to want to deconstruct the bag and then flip it to the side that you don't want to show on the outside. You're going to get the lower right corner and put it to the upper left corner so that way you can create a square once you unfold it. It should look like this, and then you cut where it folds, and then voila, you have your squares. See where it's folded? You're going to want to do that on the other side as well. So that way the square is folded on either side like a diamond. And then you're going to fold it from either side once more like this. Once you've got your 8 triangles, you're going to cut halfway on either side right here. Grab the loose flaps and then fold it to the center of that diamond so it looks kind of like a kite. It should look like this, and then you do it all the way around. After you fold all the sides, it should look like this. And then you're going to put a dot of hot glue on one flap in the corner right there. This is how I do it. So I put it in the corner. And once you put the glue, you're going to get the other flap and slightly put it over. You don't want to put them over all the way, but kind of like halfway. And you want to pinch it so that way it binds well. Do that to every single side. And this is what it should look like. Once you have your 2 stars, you're going to want to put them on top of each other to see how you would like.
rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung away.
If you've been looking for the perfect gift to make this holiday season, you're in luck. This video is perfect for you. I've been seeing these really cute candlestick holders all over my Pinterest, and I thought they would make the most adorable gift. Okay, let's start from the top so there's no confusion. Roll out your clay to an even thickness, and then cut out a circle. Next, roll out a clay coil and place it around the circle. Blend those two pieces together using your fingers or a clay tool. Then, using a clay ribbon that I rolled into a small cylinder, place it in the center because this will be what will hold the candle. Smooth everything together with your fingers, a sponge, or clay tools, and then set it off to dry for 24 to 48 hours. Once it's completely dry, it's ready to be painted. I did some light sanding with a nail file just to take off any of the bumps, but you guys are more than welcome to skip this step. I then went in with some